Most Filipinos, when they go to Spain, they go to the northern part, like Madrid or Barcelona. It's all about visiting sites where got Jose Rizal and the other well-known Filipino character heroes lived and their past lives. And on top of that, it seems like glorifying how the Spaniards subjugated the Philippines. While others elude from that idea, and maybe depends on and from what perspective. But what about bringing you down southern Spain, where the nitty-gritty of the colonization really started? What has become after Hispania, before the age of exploration? And how about the unpopular dismayed conquest of the Spaniards in the southern pre-colonial Philippines? Why did they call them Moros? Why did they call them Moros? What does the term really mean? Where did it come from? Tara!
Let's talk.
Tara!
Let's talk.
The Iberian Peninsula, modern-day Spain and Portugal, used to be under the Roman Empire until the Germanic barbarians, the Visigoths, brutally took over and lasted for 300 years until the year 711. During this period, a new force began rising from the desert of the Middle East like lightning, the Islamic Caliphate. It was vastly growing, and the expansion reached any known world and gone up to the North Africa at this stage. Julian of Quetta, a Unitarian Christian chief under the Visigoths, went to the Muslims across the border and called for help. The Muslims at this region were composed of Arabs, Berbers, and black Africans known as the Moors or Moros. A leading general named Tariq ibn Ziyad went across and landed in Jabal Tariq, today known as Gibraltar. The Muslims defeated the Visigoths in the initial battle, and subsequently, it only took 9 years for the entire Iberian Peninsula to fall under the Islamic Caliphate and became known as Al-Andalus. Muslims and non-Muslims flourished alongside each other in Al-Andalus. This was the golden age of Islam. The best Jewish scholars came from this area. Non-Muslims were not forced to convert, although they were paying jizya, but not zakat like the Muslims. And if they are sick, old, disabled, women, or poor, they are simply exempted. On top of that, they are not prohibited with alcohol and pork consumption. Plus, they are not required to serve in the army. They were also judged separately from the Islamic laws. They are judged by their own judges according to their laws. The Christians and Jews who lived in Al-Andalus were called Mozarabs, meaning Arabized. Because they have adapted the cultures and fused them with their own, they have adapted Arabic names and even the language itself to the level of fluency. Because of this religious tolerance, and perhaps as time went by, people were used to the cultures, traditions of Muslim practices. Many non-Muslims inevitably converted to Islam, but this was in the course of almost 800 years. According to the report, by the year 1200, 90% of the population were Muslims and vastly from the local converts. On this video, you will see 3 repetitive calligraphy writings that says Al-Mulk ilallah, land belongs to Allah. Al-Qudratu lillah, power belongs to Allah. Al-Izzatu lillah, honor belongs to Allah. In spite of what they have achieved in science, architecture, calligraphy, lifestyle in general, still, these are what they believed in. The wall is full of calligraphy. It says, Wala ghalib illallah, meaning no one dominates Allah. No one overpowers Allah. It's also all over the place that says, La ilaha illallah Muhammadar Rasulullah, meaning there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the last messenger. Cordoba or Cordoba was known as the center point of civilization. Muslims built a beautiful mosque in the area and the biggest in Europe at the time. According to record, in the year 1000, Cordoba was the largest city on earth. There were 200,000 houses, 900 public baths, 600 mosques, 50 hospitals, huge markets, and the Khalifa had 400,000 books in his private library. Interestingly, Around this period, Europe was in what we know as the Dark Ages. But in Cordoba, the city was lit in and around 10 square miles. King Offa of Mercia, modern-day Britain, reigned from year 757 to 796, produced dinar coins that on one side had Arabic inscription that translates, "There is no God but Allah." Not that he's a Muslim, but it was believed that these were used for trades with Islamic Spain. Many of the Visigoths who did not want to be under the Caliphate ruling went to the mountainous part of northern Al-Andalus, where a Christian leader named Pelayo, or Don Layo in Spanish, who then became the king of this newly independent area called Asturias. All throughout the centuries, the attempt of Reconquista was happening. There were lots of battles between borders of Muslim and Christian territories, as well as fights between Muslim factions. The flip of the coin happened when Isabella of Castile and Fernando II of Aragon, both strong and ambitious, tied the knot in 1469. This became the most important monarch in Spanish history. In 1492, the last Sultan of Granada, considered the last stronghold region of the Moors, handed over the key to King Fernando and Queen Isabella after 10 years of siege. On the other side of the world, about 4 decades back in 1453, Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, the gateway between Europe and Asia, fell under the Islamic Ottoman Empire from the Byzantine Empire. In result, it's making it difficult for the European merchants accessing the Silk Road in acquiring the goods from Asia. So needless to say, they needed to find a different path overpassing the Ottoman Empire using the vast sea route. In 1521, just 9 years after the last surrender of the Islamic Caliphate in Spain, Fernando de Magallanes, or famously known as Ferdinand Magellan, landed in what became known as the Philippines. To their surprise, these lands were heavily populated with Moors or Moros, pertaining to Muslims. Because of the strong presence of Islam in these islands, Spaniards considered this as a continuation of their Reconquista. In the 13th century, Islam had already reached Asia as far as pre-colonial Philippines. The most dominant kingdom in the region were the Sultanate of Sulu. They have established governance since the 1400s, as evidenced by the strong connections of Sultan Batara with the Ming dynasty of China, who died in DEZHOU in Shandong province. Muslims were widespread in all islands at the time of Spaniards' arrival. A simple evidence of that is the tradition that was carried out and still being practiced until now, the circumcision by Filipino men. Indeed, a ritual and hygienic practice by Muslim men and not from Catholicism. The literal meaning of Moors or Moro is black.
Originating from the Italian il Moro, meaning the black.
As the Reconquista come to realize, the term Moors or Moros became synonymous with Muslims, and majority of them were dark-colored skin. Perhaps you heard someone says Ray-Ban instead of aviator, fridge instead of refrigerator, Hoover instead of vacuum, Coke, even though he's actually looking for Sprite or worse, Pepsi. I think you get the point. So that's why when the Spaniards saw many Muslim inhabitants in the pre-colonial Philippines, they just called them Moros.
Some of the words, some of the Spanish were kind of similar.
Similar, yes.
You know, when you were
Yeah.
explaining the slingshot, and back
Tirador.
in the Philippines, we call it tirador.
Tirador.
And I used to,
Tirador.
my brother, all the boys, they used to have that, you know, and shooting the birds or anything. Yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
have
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Fantastic.
so I don't know if the Spaniards brought it to the Philippines or
Most likely.
yeah, or the or the Spaniards brought it here? I
Well-
actually don't know.
Actually, I don't know, but I'm sure that we took something from Philippines
Yeah.
and now it's really popular. Well, not
Yeah.
now, but in the past was really popular among the
Okay.
toys of my father and mother.
Oh,
the
okay.
yo-yo. Okay.
Oh, the yo-yo.
The yo-yo that, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, was created in the island of Mindanao. Right?
Oh, really?
my
Yo-yo
God,
was.
see, we
Oh
didn't
my!
even know.
I
Look
think
at that,
so.
guys.
The circle and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
sling.
Yeah.
With a rope.
Yeah, I'm
It was
my
created.
parents used to play a lot with that.
Oh, that's
So
really
that's it, guys. It apparently it's made in the
In
Philippines,
Mindanao.
Mindanao.
And he's
It's,
from that area. He didn't
Yeah.
Oh my
know.
goodness, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence! And
Yes.
we were so interested with the Moors. That's why we came here to know more about Moors. Because in the Philippines, my ancestors from the southern part of the Philippines. I grew up there, so like they called them when the Spanish went to the Philippines. Well, pre-colonial Philippines, they saw these guys in the past. They called them Moro.
Moro, exactly.
Yeah, Moro.
The Moro.
Yeah. What's Moro in the Andalusia? When they say Moro?
It has different meanings.
Okay.
Moro comes from Latin.
Okay.
Maori. Maori is the plural. Maurus is singular.
Okay.
And at the same time, it's a Greek loan word, which comes from Maurus. It means black.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because the Maori were the people from North Africa.
Yeah, the
Oh,
yes.
The
okay.
Moors, which means tan skin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
During the 2nd century AD, we have some references of emperors like Antonius Pius and Marcus Aurelius, who were receiving waves of invaders from North Africa, and those invaders were known as the Maori, because the promise was, the promise of Africa was the promise of Mauritania.
Okay.
That's the
That's
thing.
amazing.
What the Spanish soldiers did not expect when they were crossing the Pacific Ocean
Yeah.
in the exploration of Juan Elcano and Fernando de Magallanes
Yes.
is that they were going to find Muslims, okay? on
But
those
they were not
islands.
expecting.
They were not expecting that. They
Oh.
thought that the conquest was done in the 2 of January of
Yes.
1492.
Ah.
And when they reached those islands, they say, "Oh my God, they are here again!"
We can get rid of them.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
by accident, when they were playing some games, we know that Lapu Lapu hit the head
Yeah.
of Magallanes, so
Magallanes.
only Juan Sebastián Elcano could finish that journey in 1522, obtaining that title of Primus Circumditisteme, so the first one that turned around the planet, okay, by uniting Europe, Africa, America, and Asia, okay, with the Philippine island.
Yeah.
So the Philippine nation and the Spanish nation were the responsible for the first globalization of the world, and I think that we should feel proud of that, okay, my friends.
Okay. Lovely.
Yes,
Lovely. Yeah.
see?
We have a historian here as well, not just a tour
Right.
guide,
Yeah, you're
but a
really
historian.
good. You really
Thank
know
you.
your
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
Tara.
Let's talk.
Tara.
Let's talk.